I were on the call the other night for 3 hours. So if we want to keep you busy, we can keep you busy. But we're going to try to share as much as possible in this hour with you guys. There's 5 specific points that we want to discuss tonight. There is easy times and there's not so easy times. But nothing is easy. Nothing is easy in life. Whether you're working for a company, whether you're running your own company, whether you've chosen network marketing as your option, nothing is easy. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes dedication, commitment, and many things to make anything a success. So I've been in the corporate world, owning my own business as an entrepreneur. I've been in the networking industry for the past 8 years. And if I compare all 3 things, the 5 things that we're going to be talking about tonight, you need this in any business, whichever business you're with, you're going to need these 5 things. So what we want to first start with, the very, very first one is discipline. Think about the word discipline. Discipline is enforcing obedience and perfecting moral character. So it's to train and to develop like a certain instruction and exercise for self-control. So discipline is in a lot of areas in your life. But there's no other person that I can really say will probably be able to explain discipline even better than I can. I will give my opinion at the end of that. But if I think of you, Marcus, and you're a kung fu athlete, and as an athlete, you really, really need discipline. There are times you probably feel like doing it and don't feel like doing it. But what is your opinion about discipline as a multi-level networker, as an entrepreneur, and as a business owner? Do you say how important is this?
I think they all tie together. I noticed like even in whatever company it is, people that have, for instance, a sports background or martial arts background, they tend to do very well because they know like that you have to put in effort under a longer period of time to achieve something, right? Whether that is with your mind or with your body. One thing that I tell my kids, and this is a principle, right? So kung fu or business, it should be boring. Why is that? Like, it's not something that if you have like really, 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 really big goals, like say that you want to do some exercise goals, and you're constantly thinking about it, and you added. That's what I did. I saw an old man on YouTube. He made 700 push-ups in a day. I'm like, if he can do it, I can do it, right? So I worked my way up to 300, and then I thought, okay, that's it. From now, I'm gonna do 300 every day, and you did it for some time, but then then you wake up and then like 300, no, it's too much, and then and then I'll make up for the next day, but then that never happened and things like that. So what's happening is it's better that it's boring. It's just something that you do, like brushing your teeth. Brushing your teeth shouldn't be exciting. It's just something that you do, right? It's something that you do. You wake up in the morning and you do your exercise routine. You're not thinking about it. You're not putting, oh, should I do that? Or oh, it's gonna be amazing, or gonna build this muscles. Just like brushing your teeth. You just do it, right? And then you do it every single day. Every single day, a little bit every day. Do it and it's done. Another cool thing is again, I'm gonna have the example with Kung Fu, but it's applicable to both, right? Whether you want to build this business, say that it takes, let's on the larger scale, let's say it takes 4 years to become really good, master the skills, and you're having the experience. 4 years, and people say, oh, it's gonna take 4 years, it's too long. But here's the thing, the 4 years, the time will pass either way, right? It's because there's no decision. You cannot not participate. Either you do something or you don't do something, and both will have consequences. So at the end of 4 years, because they're gonna come whether you like it or not, you're either gonna have the results or you're not gonna have the results, right? So it doesn't take 4 years. The 4 years is gonna come either way. The question is, where do you want to be in 4 years from now, right? Where do you want to be financially? Where do you want to be in your physical shape, right? Because it is going to happen, and not participating is also a decision that will lead a snowball effect towards things that you don't like, right? So there is not any cannot participate, right? You're participating either way, right? And when I realized that I'm participating either way, and by not doing it, I'm actually snowballing in the wrong direction, I must make it a habit, right? Otherwise, I'll make it a habit not to do it, and it will propel me to the other way. So you cannot choose, right? Either you do something or you don't, and both will have the consequences. But you have to play the game. You cannot not participate, right? Either you are on the path of becoming better and stronger and becoming the best version of yourself, or you're not going to live up to your true potential, and it's going to snowball in the other effect. Once you realize that to the core of your being, that you cannot not participate, it's easier then to make a conscious decision, right? What you want to do and who you want to be come 4 years from now, because those 4 years are going to come whether you like it or not, right? That's my input.
Great stuff. So you've heard what the input of discipline is in Marcus's view, and I agree totally. So I'm going to add on that. But maybe you'll be asking your question tonight is, how do I become more disciplined? If I'm not a very disciplined person, what are the things that I need to do that you have done to be able to practice that discipline? So I will answer that in a different way as well. And that is, you look at what really affects your discipline. So you first take a look at all your bad habits and you start changing that slowly, one at a time. And when you start changing that, you start creating better habits. You also look at your weakness. So what do you battle with? Try and work on that and discipline yourself to get stronger in the weak areas. If an athlete battles with speed, he's going to work harder to pick up his speed. So I think you need to have a look at what are you really battling with. So discipline is very much a personal thing as well. When we were children, we were disciplined by our parents. We were told what to do. We were told how to do. We were shown how to do. As you grow up, you have to start disciplining yourself and in certain areas. And only you can make that decision, nobody else. So little steps every day will take you to a more disciplined life. So that's the input I can give on discipline. Right, so the next one we're going to talk about is teamwork. How important teamwork is in a company, in a business, as well as a network. Now, teamwork, they say, is dream work, but it isn't always the case, because many people get so frustrated with their team, because some people just get into the boat, but they don't row. Other people jump into the boat with a 300 horsepower motor and they go. So you might be questioning sometimes, well, why and how do I get my team to really row? Okay, and I think in any network, this is probably the most frustrating thing for anybody, because you might have a team of 200 people and there's only a couple that really go. Now, my personal opinion is that they say networking is a numbers game. Yes, I agree. The more numbers, the quicker we get to where we're going. But it can also take a few people to do a lot of work, and we will still get there with or without the total numbers. So teamwork is a very important part in any business and any network to really get to the goal, to have the same vision, to get us where we want to go. So what is your opinion, Marcus, on teamwork?
That's a great question. And I want to comment this from an angle, something that I learned from one of my mentors, David Imenitie. He said, you are in a team, but you're also individually building the business, right? Your success is and is not dependent on your team. Let me explain that, right? You need people in your team, but you don't need any one single person, right? So what David Immunity always says is that, you know, the success that I have achieved, and, you know, he's making, you know, north of $1 million a month, US, is between him and God, right? It's not between him and the team, right? Because if he were going to focus on his team, you know, trying to manage them, trying to push them, he would go away from him leading. So he must show the way. And for in the team, there are going to be people who are going to be doing 10%, right? And they're comfortable with that. There's some people that's going to go in 30%, some 40, right? Some 60. Why is that? Who knows? Who knows? Right? And there are some people who's going to run with it, right? All are welcome. What we must understand that those people that are not, you know, running it, they are not limiting our chances at all, right? Let them do their business the way they want to do it, right? Because it does not limit us, because we are only limited by our imagination, right? About and our faith. So if we're constantly out there sharing this opportunity, right? Not focusing on, you know, what the other people are doing, inspiring them, but at the end of the day, it's their business, right? And success is not between you and the team, it's between you and God. That's what David Immunity says. So just run with it. You have the bigger vision of what's possible. And if you can share that vision with other people, they will want to be the best version of themselves. And that might be 10%, 20, 40, 50, 60, right? That is for them to decide, right? That's for them to decide. You can only show the way. You can show the way. That way, you will not be frustrated with your team. Be grateful, right? Be grateful for the people that you have in your team. See it constantly be out there. Another thing that I learned is a concept called RITA. Recruiting is the answer, right? So what if they have attrition in your team, right? People leaving, what's the solution? Get more people on board. What if the team is not moving? RITA, recruiting is the answer, right? Get more people on the team, right? So instead of focusing on the problem, focus on the solution, right? Go out there and share the bigger vision. You must here be very like, I'm going that way, right? Do you want to come? Awesome. Okay. Are you going to be lagging behind? That's cool. We're still going in the right direction. Some people want to run with me. Awesome. Let's run together, right? But everyone is welcome. So just knowing that you are not limited by the team, right? Then you will begin to appreciate them, appreciate your team, and you will get them to become the best version of themselves. That is my input on it. One aspect. Well, I could expand a little bit if I may.
Yeah.
The really awesome thing when you start to, there is a quote, right, from someone, a very smart person. He said, for kids and for elderly people, never do anything for them that they can do themselves. Why is that? Because you will rob them of their independence, right? And that's super important. And if you're not enabling your team, if you're letting them figure things out, becoming their, giving them responsibility, you will see that people will, rise to the occasion and start running. And then you will have more people multiplying the effort, right? And you will see magic, truly magic happening, where you have a team of hundreds and thousands of people each working. So if all of them is putting in an hour, right, then it's 1,000 people, you have 1,000-hour work week, right? That's pretty cool, right? And it is possible, and it will happen if we stay consistent with it and constantly give people the tools to then start doing things themselves, right? Going out there, going through the journey, because in the end of the day, network marketing is basically a self-development a compensation plans tied to your self-development. So the more self-development you do, the more you go out of your box, the more you expand your comfort zone, the more you put yourself out there, the more you share your mission and the vision with people, the more you are going to grow as a person, and the more your bank account is going to grow, right? Over to you, Renee.
Absolutely. So the benefits to me, having a team, obviously, like you said, is that you only, if everybody puts in a couple of hours, it's 1,000 hours already. Whereas if you had to work on your own, you'd have to put in 1,000 hours on your own. So teamwork has definitely got a benefit in that way. I also see a team as people have got different strengths. People have got different ideas. So putting all people's ideas together, working together, makes a team so much stronger and so much better. As a team, we also grow together because we've also got the same goals. We've got the same vision in the business as such. We have, our own personal goals, but as a team in a wholeness, we all want to achieve what the business is about. And in that sense, we've got the same goal. So we will work together to achieve that goal. So that is how I see the benefits of having a team. Then we now by number 3, right? Number 3, mentorship. How important is a mentor to a person? Because to me, a mentor has been a very important part in anything I've done. Since working for a corporate company, I started off with a mentor. Then owning my own business, I found somebody that can mentor me in my business. And then with network marketing, had a different mentor. So you often think you only need one mentor in your life, but there are mentors in different areas of your life. Maybe you need a spiritual mentor, maybe you need a mentor in a specific business that you're with, or there's different areas. Marcus, how important to you has mentoring been in making a success of the networking business?
Like basically everything, right? So even if having a background in kung fu, you have a shifu, right? You have your a master and you're a disciple and you follow them, right? I was this close to my my shifu, right? We were together every single day, 7 days a week. We were in the gym, right? In the dojo, whatever you want to say, right? And it's been so important, especially having someone that, in my case, that have been a little bit older than me. So not only did I learn about Kung Fu, I learned about business, but I also learned about life, because people have a different perspective, right? Especially with someone who's a little bit older. I say this a lot to kids that I teach, like, okay, if you're 15 years old now, right? If you think back 5 years ago when you were 10, did you make good decisions then? Like, did you have your life figured out? Like, no, you didn't, right? You're 15, I'm 31, I'm 16 years older than you. And just as you think that 5 years ago when you were 10, that you had no idea what you're doing, and that's a 5-year difference. Now I'm 16 years older than you, and I can tell you I've been through all of the stages. I know what you're thinking, and these and these things won't matter, Jack, in 2 years. Don't think about it, right? Also, having someone see something in you that you do not necessarily see yourself, right? Because once you've gone through the journey yourself, you know what's possible. And if it's possible for you, it's possible for someone else. For someone who hasn't gone through the journey, they are unaware of this. But once you've gone through it, you can see the potential in other people that they might not see themselves. And if you can bring that out in someone, you will see an amazing transformation happening. You will see a caterpillar turn into a butterfly, right? Not only that, it can shave years of your learning curve, all the most common pitfalls, all the mistakes, all the things. You don't have to go through that. And another key thing that I learned is that a mentor doesn't have to be someone that you know personally. It can be someone whose audio you're listening to. It can be someone whose book you've read, right? So reading books, I'm a huge fan of reading books. Like, you have someone who's dedicated their life 40, 50, 60 years into perfecting their craft, and then put it into a book. And I can just go to the library, pick it up, and like I can download basically all of their, insight and experiences. And I might not understand it to the level that they do, but I can expand my mind, like, whoa, really? So mentorship is, it's like being in a maze without a map if you don't have a mentor. I can tell you that, right? That is my input.
I totally agree with you that, because, to me, a mentor is somebody who has achieved what you want to achieve as well. Like you said, sheds a lot of years of learning curve. So you actually learn from them. It also allows you to develop and to gain knowledge and skills from them. So often we need that. We need guidance, and having a mentor actually allows that. If I think of the 3 things that I really look for when I choose a mentor, because you might say, okay, fine, I hear you say I need a mentor, but how do I choose one? How do I know who to choose? Okay, first of all, you choose somebody who has achieved what you would like to achieve, so that they can actually mentor you to actually achieve that as well. But the thing that I really look at is the 3 A's, okay? One that actively listens to me, that actually hears what I want, knows my goals, knows my visions, but actively listens to what I need to be able to get to where I want. The second A is availability. To me, it's important that a mentor is available to me, because it doesn't help, having somebody that just never has time for you, or able to help you and show you the way. I also value my mentor's time. So what's also important is that you always just use the time wisely that you have with them. The third A that I look at is analysis. And that really goes about him or her be able to not beat around the bush. That a mentor can tell you straightforward and outright when something isn't right, or when you're not on the right track, or can give you constructive criticism. Because I don't want somebody, when I've got a mentor, I don't want somebody that just says, yes, everything is right, everything that you're doing is fine. I want them to be able to help me where I'm wrong, and to explain why I'm wrong, and that type of thing. So those are the things that I look at when I have actually chosen mentors, is somebody that really means that to me. So point number 4 is goal orientation. How important is goal orientation? If you think of goals, there's a bigger reason why you're actually doing something. Because if you don't have a goal, then you've got no reason to be doing what you're doing. So setting goals to me is a very, very important thing. But also knowing the goals of your team, knowing the goals of your team members is just as important. So how would you explain goal as one of the key points that has made you successful and made your team successful in previous networks and the current one?
Great question. So I'm thinking about an audio. It's called "The Strangest Secret," right, from Earl Nightingale, right? And he puts goal orientation in a very, very easy to understand way. He says a ship, right, does know which port it's going to, will arrive there 999 times out of 1,000, right? It know its destination, know where it's going. But if a ship is just randomly going out to the sea, the chances of him hitting any port let alone the one that you might have wanted to go to, is, you know, close to impossible, right? So if you don't know where you're going, how are you supposed to get there, right? And another thing which I've begun to realize more and more later is the importance of writing it down with pen and paper. You're taking something that is intangible up here and you're creating it in the physical world. And that is a big, 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 big thing, right? Writing it, not on your computer, pen and paper. Stating your goal, like an affirmation, as if you're already, as if you've already achieved it, and being grateful before it has happened. So you don't let the results dictate your feelings, you dictate, right? You dictate the other way around. So it's not what you see that determines where you are and what you can do. You have eyesight, this is what you see, but you have mind sight. You can see something into the future. You can look past your current circumstances and see, you know, the clouds, you know, parting and the sun shining, right? Even though it's raining right now, right? You must be able to see that and be able to state that, right? Because when you change how you look at things, the things you look at begins to change. I've had goals that I thought were impossible, right? I didn't think it will happen. Like a goal was me moving to Spain, right? It's been a goal. I would put up all of these things where I want to go. I had it put up, and in a much shorter time than I ever thought possible, you know, the way cleared out, right? But that's because I had it in front of me, right? If we're not writing it down, if we're not looking at it, if we're not stating it, it becomes not a goal, it becomes a wish, right? But if I'm actively working towards it, I have it, I see it. Even though it's not right in front of me, it begins to become real. And like I said before, when you change how you look at things, the things you look at begins to change, and you begin to look at things in another way. So things that seemed impossible, instead of thinking I can't do that, turns into how can I do that? How would I be able to? And then a whole world of opportunities opens to you because you have not closed yourself off. And when you begin to share your goals with someone else, they become inspired, and you will see that people will be attracted to you, because success is attracted to the person that you become, right? You become a person, you put yourself out there, you're stating your goals, and you're like, yeah, you have like this enthusiasm, you have something, a passion inside of you. Okay, things are happening, I can see it, I can touch it, I can hear it, I can smell it, I can feel it, all of that good stuff, and it becomes real. And when you can then share this vision about your goals convincingly with other people, right? They will like, oh, that person is going that way, like, you know, I wanted to come with them, right? I want to come with them. Another cool thing is the minor steps, especially if you have big goals, and celebrating those things, right? So if your goal is to have 100 new team members, like have like 1, 5, 10, 15, 25, 50, 75, 100. So there's a ladder,
yeah.
And you should celebrate, right? Celebrate both when someone else hits their goals, because then you know it's soon time for you. If you can be happy from someone else, even while you haven't got it yet, you're on the way, right? But also having these small goals and celebrate it as if you've already, you know, achieved what you wanted to achieve, right? So that is my input on that subject.
So that's awesome. And as you were saying, you know, goals are very important when you actually make them public. Tell people about it. Tell people what your goals are, because when you make your goals public, it actually makes you more accountable as well. When setting goals, also make sure that they're worthwhile, that you want to work towards those goals, because, you know, having goals that aren't really worthwhile doesn't really motivate you. So make them worthwhile. You know, prioritize your goals. So what is important to you is what you're going to be putting first to achieve those goals. Once you've made that goal, is to actually commit to the goal, to achieving the goal. And then also, like you said, you know, every stage, celebrate every stage and have achievable stretches between your goals. I remember in high school when I used to do very well in high jumping, I couldn't jump 1.5 meters immediately. It had to take, you know, you had to actually get to that stage. So every single stage was like, wow, I've done that, I managed that. But you don't start at the top and then, you know, go down. You start at the bottom and you go to the top. And that's exactly the same with goals. Have achievable stretches from where you want to go and celebrate every single place where you're getting at. And then, of course, always set deadlines. Push yourself. You need to push yourself. And if you don't have deadlines to accomplish your goals, you're not going to achieve them. So that's my bits about goals that I can really mention. The last point that we're going to talk about tonight is systems. To me, in everything that I've done, whether I ran my own business, whether I've been working with a networking team, to me, systems are extremely important, because if we don't have a system in place, it could create havoc. What do you say about systems, Marcus?
Great questions. If we look at franchises, right, like a fast food chain restaurant, everything is systemized so that you can basically take whatever teenager off the street, put them into the kitchen, and they can figure out how things work, right? And they are able to pop up all over the place, meaning they're duplicatable. So that is something that is very, very important. Instead of everyone having to figure out, you know, reinventing the wheel all over again, you have something that you know is working, right? And that is, it's easy to do and that people can do daily, right? Because you come back to the anthill philosophy of, you have a lot of ants, there are a lot of them, and they're building, you know, these ant nests, which is in comparison would be like building Mount Everest for us, right? In the size comparison. And they're doing this one little straw, one little thingy at a time. But there's so many of them consistently working day in, day out, doing their little thing, right? Building, 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 building. So systems. Now, what do you have systems for? Everything. Okay, what is the system for joining? Right? What is the process, the systematication of getting someone to join? After someone has joined, what is the system, right? Adding them to groups, have people congratulate them. What are the systems in terms of showing the business opportunity? What are the systems? What are the systems for reaching out to people? And a system, what is a system? It's just something that everyone has agreed upon that you will do, and there are step-by-steps how to do it, and everyone does it. Right? So you have the system, okay, do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, do this, do this, do this. Everyone knows what they're supposed to do. Everyone are able to do it, and then a little every day. Boom, 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 boom. Right? And it will run like a franchise, right? Everyone knows, okay, I'm supposed to do this, 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 and then you can really make it your own business, right? Because that is what's so truly amazing about this industry, that, you know, it's an even playing field. Like, anybody can succeed, anybody, right? anybody. It doesn't matter the background, all the things that, you know, your past does not equal your future, right? So whatever you had, you know, limiting you before, right? Whether it's a degree, whether it's where you live, whether it's whatever, won't matter at all. This is all hard, right? How bad do you want it, right? How keen are you on learning new things and applying them, right? So this is, even people, you know, the top leaders building organizations of hundreds and thousands of people, they all started somewhere, right? And it's just talking to people. And like Jim Rohn said, you know, work full-time on your job and part-time on your fortune, right? Because especially in these times, having some money that you can set aside, knowing that if things, you know, take a spin for the worse, you can take care of yourself. You can take care of your loved ones. Why? Because you have invested in a skill set, right? You have your own business that you can do from the comfort of your own home. So you're not faced by lockdowns, right? You know that whatever, wherever I am, give me one of these things, you know, am I good to go, right? And then being able to share that with other people, and boom, you know, the sky is the limit. So this is my input. Thank you, Renee.
Thank you. So yes, absolutely, like you say, systems is really, really important, and it plays a significant part and a role in the company's success. It's the building block, basically, of any company or any network. If we don't have systems, we don't know how to lead others, we don't know how to share the specific blueprint. I see a system as a blueprint. Somebody comes into the system, this is the steps that has to be taken, this is the process that needs to be followed. But if we've got nothing like that, it's literally people like wandering in the desert, not knowing how to go about what they have to do when they join the team. So to me, systems have been a very, very important part in a network. Having systems that new people can follow, having systems that the current people can follow, and to have a success in the team using the appropriate systems. If I just think of, for instance, when I worked in a glass factory, I was very fortunate to work in a technical department for 2 years, where I saw how glass was made from the raw material process throughout the furnace, and how glass was melted from sand and dolomite and ashstone, and all this was done in the furnace, and you know how it goes through the processes. Every single process had a system, and if one specific part failed, it stopped everything behind. The glass would break, the glass wouldn't cut properly, it wouldn't pack properly. So exactly the same, when some people have a system, but they don't follow the system, somewhere along the line, it's going to crash. And somewhere along the line, they're going to be losing people in terms of not understanding certain things and not complying to certain things because they haven't followed the system. So the system in any organization, in any network, I have found to be the blueprint to follow, so that it makes the entire team's life easier. We might just want to quickly close off with something. I will just end off with this. And that is, just like your goal, you know, we have been born for a purpose, and we have been born for a promise. And to get to our promise, there is a process. Often it's not easy to get to the promise, and we have to get there in stages. Can you just imagine, for instance, when we're talking about mentorship, you have to learn to get there. You have to learn certain things to get there. It's acquired skills that you have to learn before you get to where your mentor is. But exactly the same, if you have to give a car key to an 8-year-old to drive his car, which is actually meant for him at 18, it could be quite a devastating choice to do, you know, to give him that key. But it doesn't mean that he won't get there at 18. It just means that he's not right now. And this is exactly you know, with every single one of us, to get to our promise, we have to go through learning curves. We have to go through a process to get there. But the more we work together, the more we learn from each other, and the more mentorship you can get, it's going to get you to that specific promise eventually. Marcus, you want to end up with something?
To get to the next level, we must do what frightens us. Right? So if we're not satisfied with the results that we're having, what do we know that we should be doing? What are we frightened of? And it's kind of cool when you push that barrier, you know, going back, that was me, personal example was me starting TikTok, no idea, right? Still figuring it out, but now I'm shooting a couple of these 10, 15 second videos every day, you know, figuring out what's working and all of that good stuff. First couple of months, but after a couple of while, you know, you get start becoming comfortable, in your comfort zone has expanded, boom, okay, and your sphere of influence has increased, and you're like, okay, if I can do that, what's the next step? But that wasn't so bad. So constantly, you know, taking those little steps will expand, right, your comfort zone and the person that you become. So really, the things that frightens you, see that, test it, right? Make that become your normal.
So what you're actually saying is every level has a different devil.
Oh, absolutely.
Even if you've listened to us tonight, you know, write it down and start looking at every single point and put yourself in that position, and, you know, write down your goals, write down who's your mentor, write down those 5 points, and let it, you know, let that actually help you to also be successful in what you do. Great stuff. So we will end this tonight, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for everybody that's made the time and effort. We've kept it under an hour. What a miracle. So thank you so much for joining. A wonderful evening for everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good night.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Good night.